What's up, guys? Welcome to Nimble Minds Talks of Self and Spirituality, where we talk about different spiritual concepts as well as different philosophies as well. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about narcissists. And you may be hearing that thinking, narcissist, I know what that is. That's that disorder, or, in psychiatry, psychology is classified as narcissism, where you're like a self-obsession with self. Yes, then you would be correct. We are going to be talking about the Greek myth of Narcissus, which has influence on what is in the DSM-5, if that is the most recent book that is used to classify these disorders. Then this is what has given some influence to coming up with narcissism as the term, the Greek myth of Narcissus. So the book I am reading this from is called The Isis Papers, The Keys to the Colors by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. This is a great book. I would recommend. The only thing is that, it's a good book. It's a good book. Read it. So this page is alienation, anxiety, and narcissism, but we're focusing on the narcissism part. So, Greek myth of Narcissus. According to Greek mythology, Narcissus was the son of the river god Cephasus and the nymph Larirope. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. He was distinguished for his beauty, so he was a handsome guy. His mother was told that he would never have a long life, provided he never looked upon his own features. However, his rejection of the love of the nymph Echo, or of his lover, Anemius, drew upon him the vengeance of the gods. He fell in love with his own reflection in the waters of the spring and pined away. Or killed himself. So, or unalived himself, however you want to say it. So, this is a cautionary tale, a myth, and it's supposed to teach you something. You're supposed to draw something. So first, this is a great story. Why? Because it talks about how self-obsession can lead to destruction. Whether, maybe you don't take it to the extreme and decide to off yourself, but maybe it can mess up other things within your life. So this is a great tale to show that, hey, don't forget that. Don't become too obsessed with yourself where you forget about other things you have to do, responsibilities, other people, and you forget that you have to interact with people respectfully. Or at least it's a good thing to do, So that on that end of it, this is a great story for that. Now on the other end of it, spiritually, self-love is very important. And it's not a self-obsession, or it shouldn't be a self-obsession, I would say. And it shouldn't be a self-obsession in the sense that every time you're obsessed with yourself, now you forget about everything you have to do. Nobody else is important. No. If you're going to be obsessed with yourself, it can be in a positive way, okay? Because spiritually, and when I say spiritually, food for the soul is why being content, being able to look in that mirror and be happy, to smile at yourself, knowing deep down who you are and being okay with that. That's very important spiritually. And you need to be able to do that. So on one end, we have that this story provides us with warnings, provides us with knowledge that, okay, if you're too obsessed with yourself, it can lead to some issues. It can lead to you forgetting about the importance of other things in life as well and being able to appreciate them to their fullest capacity. But on the other end, you must understand that loving yourself is a necessity. Loving yourself is a necessity. Why is it a necessity? Nobody's going to love you more than you love yourself. Nobody is going to love you more than you love yourself. Maybe your mom, maybe your dad, but it's going to get to a point where they don't matter. It's going to get to a point where you need to love yourself. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to get to a point where you're going to have to look in that mirror, be able to smile, and truly, deep down, not putting on a show for everybody to see, because it's not what it's about. But deep down, you're going to have to be okay with who you see in that mirror. And that's why this tale is great, because it touches on both those aspects that, yes, don't take it to that extreme, being too obsessed where you start to neglect love from other people. But on the other hand, it also can show the importance of being able to love oneself. Because just as much as you can be obsessed with yourself and start to forget about other things in life, other relationships, other love, and things like that, on the other end, you can neglect yourself so much to where the same outcome is still there, to where maybe now you're not just getting neglected from those relationships because you neglect yourself, but now people can manipulate you. Now people can abuse you through these relationships because you don't even see your own value. So yes, be careful being self-obsessed, not just being in the mirror, but what other things you do as well. Because let's take it here. I'm going to talk about what the DSM-5 says. I'm just getting it off of Google. What the DSM-5 says for the characteristics of what would be categorized as narcissism. So, from what I've read on the DSM-5, is that there are two things, and there's more, but these are two things that I'm going to start with that can contribute or would show that a person may have narcissism. So, the first thing is a sense of entitlement. In other words, this person feels like the world owes them things. People owe them things as well. So this is going a little bit more in depth of what narcissism actually is, besides just looking in the mirror. There's nothing wrong with loving yourself. But the sense of entitlement, believing that the world owes you this, people owe you this, and even out of situations, things like that. So, no, simply, that's just not how it goes. The world doesn't owe you anything, and you don't owe the world anything. You owe yourself something. And whatever that thing is for you, you have to figure that out. So that is just the first point. The second point is a need for admiration. So this is not just like the entitlement where, oh, I deserve this, I deserve this. Now you want people to admire you. Now you're in a situation where whatever you do, somebody has to notice. Oh, look at me, I'm doing this. Oh, look at me, I'm doing this. Oh, look at me, whatever that case is. I don't know, like whatever you're doing, that's what it would be. It would be on 10. So like if you like to, I don't know, let's say there's like a spaceship or something and you built it. You're like, look at me, I built a spaceship. So that would be the need for admiration. And when it comes to the things you need and the things that you want, they can be very different things. Because truth be told, in life, you need very little, honestly. As long as you have your body, have your wits about you, have some, nutrition, the basic needs of life, you can do whatever you want. You could become the most spiritual guy, the guy with the most money. You could become the strongest guy. You could become the fastest guy. You could become the most booked guy. You can become anything you want as long as you have those. So when we talk about these, disorders, narcissism, the need for empathy, the need for admiration, the need for these things can be an issue. Because now you're like, oh, I need this for what? And that is a question that I would tell whoever's watching, whoever's listening, to ask yourself, for what? Why? Why do you need the admiration? Why do you need the, entitlement? Why? Where does that come from? I just encourage you to ask the question why. And you will learn a lot. Just ask why, because the why is not a bad question. Sometimes there's people that are like, don't ask any questions. No whys, no buts. But a question is never bad, because a question is the seed of progress and thought and a willing to learn. People who ask why usually are interested and want to learn more, usually. So there's nothing wrong with asking questions. Ask, why do I need admiration? Why do I have to do whatever this is? And come up with the answer and then move forward. So that's the video. Hope you enjoyed the breakdown of Narcissus, the Greek myth, and how it can be positive, and the positive lesson you could take from it, as well as the negative lesson you could take from it. That's the video. Peace.